What's up, guys? This is a full escape from the prison in Star Citizen. I'm gonna do my best to not do any editing. You will see the entire exit. Um, However, there is a couple points where I stop to chat, and I'm gonna edit those out. So when you see edit cut marks, know that you didn't miss anything. You just missed me standing there talking in chat. Now, as I'm going through this, I'm gonna not give a whole lot of direction. You really just have to watch the video and try to do your best at understanding what I'm doing. However, I did some things to make it brighter so you can kind of see what's going on. It's not so dark. Hopefully you'll be able to follow really closely. If you're trying to make this escape, I do suggest that you actually have my video up on like a second monitor or something and watch the video and follow me step by step. There is a part where I make a mistake and have to start over, but it's good. I'm leaving that in because it shows kind of how the whole thing works if you do mess up and have to start over. Another last tip I'm going to give you before kind of just shutting up and letting you watch the video is that the hardest part about escaping from the prison is the low gravity. Now, it wouldn't be possible without the low gravity because there is some jumps that you couldn't make without the low gravity. But still, you have to understand that the low gravity and then just kind of bad game mechanics, in my opinion, make it difficult. And I'll explain why I say that. Because you can step on a rock and then step off of the rock, and because of the low gravity, instead of just stepping off the rock, you will now start floating. And what that means is that if you're on if there's not a level ground that you're trying to run on, and say you need to make a jump, so you start getting up a sprint to make this jump that you need to make, and then right at the end of that sprint there is like an unlevel surface. You'll start floating from that, and now you're in the air. You can't jump, so you could potentially just float right off the side with ever actually jumping to make the jump that you need. So keep that in mind when you're about to go for a jump. Look at the surface right before you in the area you need to jump, and examine it to understand where it's flat, where it's not, and try to jump from the flat side so that you're not already falling whenever you go to make your jump. From here, I'm just going to kind of let the video play. I will stop and pause in specific sections and give kind of tips about what I'm thinking and things to note about the specific area. But I hope this helps you make your escape, and I do suggest that once you escape, you backspace, kill yourself, do it again. Become very comfortable with this run if you're going to be a criminal in the verse, because you're going to want to do this a lot. You're not going to want to sit your time in prison all the time. Take note of this spot as really the start of the jump puzzle. When you fail the jump puzzle and fall, a lot of the times you're going to end up right back here. So this is the beginning of the start of the jump puzzle. This spot right here is probably the hardest jump in the entire thing for me for some reason. I failed this jump a million times. You can see right here where I'm examining it, it's not even, so when you go to make your jump, you start to fall right before you actually press the jump. So what I ended up doing, finding the secret, was that this metal platform right here, you want to be still on that metal platform when you make your jump. It's the second you step off that metal platform, your character starts to glide, and you will just glide right off the side and you won't ever actually jump. So this is the point I talked about earlier where I actually fall and have to start over. You can see I don't make the jump because I probably stepped on a rock and was already gliding, so when I pressed the jump button it didn't work. You can see I'm quickly looking around trying to assess where I'm at. I don't recognize, so I just fall down. If you don't recognize where you're at, fall down. Most of the time that you jump, you're going to land down here where this guy has been impaled. If you fall down, you're going to land near him most of the time. It's best to be here because you at least know where you are. And you don't want to be, if you don't recognize right where you are immediately, you don't want to hang out there because you can get very easily stuck in an infinite falling state where you're stuck in two rocks and you're just falling and falling and falling. You can't move around. So don't mess around with that. Be very careful. If you get stuck in that, the only thing you can do is backspace and respawn in the prison. But you can see I just jumped down to where this dead guy is, and now I'm back at the point that I told you guys earlier to take note as the beginning of the loop of the jump puzzle. And you're pretty much done from here. It's pretty straightforward from here. There's only one direction to go. You almost can't screw it up from here. I say almost because I assume someone's going to find a way to screw it up. But I I have heard that there's like in those dead bodies that you've seen me find, you've seen me look at one just a second ago. There's a couple of those. I didn't show them all in this video, but I have found a couple of them. I have heard that sometimes you'll find like notes with codes on them and stuff. I'm going to do some exploring with those notes and codes and see if I can learn what they're for. I'm definitely going to play around with this whole prison escape thing a lot more, so keep an eye out for more videos coming soon. The reason why I didn't do more of that this time is because before this I was experimenting with the mining and seeing how fast you can actually get out by legitimately just doing the mining, which it does seem like you can cut down the time, by the way, while we're on that topic. I seen a guy say that he found one laranite rock and mined it, and it took 3 hours off of his time. To that note, I also talked to another guy who said he went in here with a crime stat 5, and his total time was 12 hours. An interesting thing to note is that the time does tick when you log out. So if you end up with 12 hours and you're like, oh, well, it's late, I'm just going to go to bed anyways. By the time you wake up, you'll probably be ready to get out of prison anyway, so that's not that big of a deal. But anyways, back to my original note, when I was messing around with the mining, I dropped my multi-tool, couldn't pick my multi-tool up, and then I was bugged. I couldn't pick up literally anything. So I didn't get to experiment with a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do, like looking for these notes and seeing what the codes might be for. Keep an eye out for future videos. I'm definitely not done with the prison system. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more playing around with this. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this helps you guys escape. Keep in mind that this just shows you how to get out of the prison. You have to have another way to get off the planet. As you'll see here, I get up here, and for some reason there was people attacking the prison. I tried to get them to give me a ride, but they weren't having it. They weren't even paying attention. So ultimately what ends up happening here is I get out of the prison, walk around for a little while, and die from running out of oxygen. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, you're a G, and tune in for more prison action because I'm going to put out more content of what is possible in the prison.